Okay, so I'm being a little bit of a troll, but in by titling this what I'm titling it, I'll admit that. But who isn't guilty of doing a little trolling now and then? Um, but I'm not necessarily saying that in a. Saying it in an objective way, not in a necessarily as like an insult. Um, I know that one of the major appeals of Trump to some people is the way he performed at those debates. Every other person is not really an autonomous individual. It's clear that they're uh, uh, really like a front for a bunch of other uh, interests and incentives that they are tied to. Donald Trump's only incentive. I mean, he didn't do have to do any of that. I mean, he was able to call out all of these people for their hypocrisy and just say things that needed to be said and that were just so obvious, and that anybody in media, and I work in the entertainment industry, anybody in media and increasingly more and more in society, people are very very media literate. Like the we've seen behind the curtain, guys. Like, really, you got to be more sophisticated than this. And here's the thing: Donald Trump, his greatest, I would say, weapon, and his greatest, in debating is going on the attack, and punching back. But the thing is that it's I think it would be really hard to punch at or attack Andrew Yang without seeming like a complete bully, uh, even to people who generally don't see it that way. Like, let's say, for example, because there's all kinds of, all the other politicians up there are, you know, I think just as cynical as Donald Trump is. And they have these, political ads that are just just pure trash propaganda, hit pieces, all this different stuff. And but once you get on the stage, everybody is so polite, and they present themselves in a certain way, and Trump was just like whatever. He just cut straight through that. He essentially cut through the bullshit. But now the bullshit's been cut, and he's made some necessary changes, or created the conditions necessary for the rise of someone like an Andrew Yang. Uh, and I think that in a debate with Donald Trump, um, there's if you tried to just smear him, it would just, I mean, even to you know people who generally feel differently, I think, who might feel differently about Donald Trump's smears, or the way he says thing to people, they who might think, okay, well, they deserve it. I think even conservative Republicans and people of that sort can see that Andrew Yang is at least a genuine and decent person, or certainly appears to be. And I also think that there are a lot of people who have the support of the president who are well aware of his flaws. Um, and So I think that pretty much means that that is the surest way, if you're someone who's fixed on getting Donald Trump out of office. That's a no-brainer. But these other people that you're, trying to pull the same trick that you did last time, you're doing the same thing. you're going to continue to do it. I mean, that's what I think. I think you're going to continue to do it, and I'm cool with it either way, frankly. I think that you should treat him fairly. As an American, everybody deserves a fair process. And in that case, when people hear his message from all across the aisle, they say, "Hey, that guy makes a lot of sense." And especially compared to these focus group phonies that they try to sell off as Democrats these days. It's just gross. But you know, I think one of the reasons that um, people feel differently about Yang is because Yang, like, he's gone to people and said, "I understand your problems." Like he's literally spent time working in the private sector and with nonprofit organizations to with people in Iowa and Wisconsin and all of that. Like that's what he's done. He's not some guy with some shady past. And believe me, let's say CNN does try to censor him and shut him down. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because there are people like me who will continue to make sure that anybody who is not given fair treatment, I don't care about your party or anything. It's about principle. Treat everybody fairly. We demand a fair process. That's it. And I think that's something all Americans can agree on. And CNN can take down any debate that they want, but don't expect there to not be people who take issue with that and question why it is that you're doing that. So that's it for now.